What's going on, everybody? We're just here today working on our Revolt, Bad Boy Revolt. It's a full PM day. We finally hit the 50-hour mark. We're actually at 55.3 hours, so we're a little bit over, but we've been busy. We hadn't really had time to work on it. So we went and bought one of these full tune-up kits from Kawasaki. One of those doohickeys. Part number is right there if you got an FX 730. I'm doing this video mainly because it's taking forever to drain. That's about as quick as it drains, so it takes a while for 2 quarts to come out. But I did one of these videos when I first got the mower as kind of a first impressions video. This video is kind of covering what's going on since then, any issues that come up, things that we like, things that we don't like. Like I said, we've got about 56 hours on this mower. As you can see, it gets used pretty frequently. It gets pretty dirty. Like I said, we don't really have time to wash it. We really need to be better about that. That's what it is. So, anyways, let's get right into it. So I bought this mower earlier this year. Probably in the spring sometime. I don't remember, March, somewhere around in there. And since then, we've been just abusing the crap out of it. We've got a couple 2-acre properties. I've got a big 3.5-acre property, and then a bunch of small residential stuff that we use it on. 48-inch deck. I kind of wish we'd have gotten a 54-inch now, but it's what it is. You know, it does good for it just being a 48-inch. Cuts a lot of grass. You can cut a lot of grass with it with 48-inch. Some things that I like about it so far. This thing is beefy. I said it when we bought this. It is extremely overbuilt. Everything from the frame to suspension, quote unquote. The operator platform's semi-comfortable. I wouldn't say it rides like a Cadillac because it's a stand-on mower with no suspension really. But the cushion's comfortable. The platform is not too bad on your feet. The engine's got plenty of power to power through stuff. I've had grass, or I shouldn't say grass, it's weeds that have been as tall as the mower, and the mower just mows right over it. No big deal. I mean, you have to make a second pass, obviously, because it's so tall, but you do that with any mower. You know, we've used it as a brush hog plenty of times, and it's just taken the abuse. So we've been really happy with the power and the comfort of it. You know, haven't had much of an issue with anything deck-wise or engine-wise, really. So those are some of the good things about it. There's a lot more, but you know, if you look at my first video, you'll kind of get the gist of it. I'm not going to go over the same stuff I went over in that video. So some things that we don't like / issues that we've had. The first biggest one we've had, and I pointed it out in the first video, but is this ignition switch right here. The issue that we're having with it is over time, you know, the machine rides pretty rough, and we're not always on smooth turf grass. So what'll happen is the pigtail, and I'll see if I can get a picture of it for you. This pigtail that hooks into the back of the ignition switch will slide out. It'll come undone. It won't come undone all the way. It'll just come undone enough to where you don't have a really good connection with the ignition switch anymore, and the machine will lose power and die. You know, because there's no power going to the ignition switch, no power going to the ignition system. You know, it just kills the entire machine. It's no big deal. I mean, it takes, you know, 15 seconds to rectify. We get in there and push the pigtail back on, and it's good for, you know, however long it lasts. It's just kind of annoying that we have to deal with that. And you know, let me preface this by saying this thing has had some issues, that being the main one. And I haven't brought it up to Bad Boy just yet, just because I'd like to get some more hours on it, uncover any other issues it may have, and then get it taken care of all at once. Just because I don't want my mower down longer than it needs to be. I'd like to just get everything done at once. So it's not, that ignition switch, not enough of an issue to really go, hey, we need to take it in right now. So that being said, this ignition switch, it's kind of a pain, but the mower's done great other than that. The cup holder, and this is an extremely minor issue. Cup holder, it just comes out like that. It's just a tension fit. I really wish they'd have done something a little bit different with that, because we'll be going down the road on the trailer, and I'll find that cup holder somewhere in the floor of the trailer when we get to the next job, and you know, one of these days it's just going to come out and I'm not going to find it. So I'll probably swap that out for something different. I'm not sure what just yet. The other issue we've had is this floor mat. I think what happened was when this thing was getting assembled, it got painted, and they either did not use enough adhesive or they did not rough this up enough. And so over time, the adhesive came loose, and this just slid off. I actually lost it for a little bit. I didn't know where it was at, so I used the machine without this, and it's kind of sucks because there's nothing to grip. There's nothing to grip your feet on, so you're not gonna fall off, but it doesn't feel as stable. But anyways, I lost it, and I wound up finding it at a customer's job, or at a customer's lot that I mow regularly. So I was happy I got it back. So I need to buy some liquid nails or something to that effect to glue this back on. So the cup holder, the floor mat, and the ignition switch have been the three actual problems that we've had, given, you know, they're all minor issues, but they are problems. You know, I've gotten various things in the tire. I've actually got a plug in this one. It got some baling wire through the sidewall, which was fun. So having said all that, those are the actual problems with the mower. And you know, problems being it affects functionality. I get it, it's a cup holder, it still affects functionality. So some things that, you know, I told you what I like about it. Some things that, moving on now, that I don't like about this mower. Going back to the tires, these turf reapers, is that what they're called? Yeah, reaper turfs, whatever they call them. They're Bad Boy's proprietary tire. I hate them. I didn't like them at first, and I've grown to really not like them. They don't grip at all. I mean, you would think, as aggressive looking as it is, that that they would clear a lot better, but they don't clear at all. I mean, once you get dirt and mud in it, like right there, once you get dirt and mud in it, it stays there, and you have zero traction. You know, this thing, I've had it on embankments plenty of times, like mowing bar ditches and stuff, and it won't hold a straight line to save your life, given I understand it's a bar ditch, but you know, the ass end wants to slide out from underneath you all the time. So the tires, I'm really not happy with. It's what it is, though. Once they wear out, I was hoping to find some bar lug tires to put on it, but unfortunately nobody makes the exact size. I think somebody makes a 23 9.5 12 size bar lug tire, and the issue with that is the tires on this are 23 by 9 12 tires. So the newer tires will probably be just a hair bit wider, and I'm not real sure if that's going to work on this rim or not. So that'll be something I'll make another video, make a Facebook post, whatever, I don't know, when we make that work, if we can make it work. So the tires, that's a big complaint. My next complaint, and it kind of goes with our maintenance today, is the location of this oil filter. I can't stand this. I'm actually not sure how I'm going to get this off. I meant to go buy an oil filter socket for it, and I forgot to. So I'm going to have to probably take a pair of pliers or do the old screwdriver through it and turn it method, and I really don't want to do that. But I hate where this thing is located. I get it, it's a Kawasaki thing, it's not a Bad Boy thing necessarily, but there's got to be some kind of adapter or something to put on this thing to move it out where it's a little bit more accessible. You know, it's what it is. You know, we can't do much about it. So that's going to be the second thing I don't really care for. The other thing is, what was the other thing? Sorry guys, it's been a long week. I've been working a lot, so honestly I can't even remember what the third thing was, to be honest with you. I think it had something to do with a deck lift. I think the deck lift system's just a little bit too stiff for my liking, but that's a minor issue. It's not that big a deal. Oh, I remember what it was. It kind of falls under the issues category, but it's not necessarily affecting functionality. So if you'll take notice, I have the advanced chute system on here, which I need to verify and see if they sent me the right one, because as you can tell, it's kind of kicked out a little bit down there at the bottom. I bought this from Ballard Industries, and you know, they make you list your specific Bad Boy model, year, deck size, all that good stuff. So I was under the assumption they sent me the right one. As you can tell, like I said, it's not on there properly because it needs to go over probably about, I don't know, 1/4 inch or so, and it might close a little better. I can live with that. It's actually not a big deal. It kind of works to some degree because it doesn't close the deck off completely, and so it still allows grass to come out, which is nice. And then it, you know, it still protects, you know, stuff from flying out, hitting cars or whatever. However, that's not what I'm complaining about. I put this on here because I have an easement that I mow that's against the street, so that's why this is on here. Now, when the original discharge chute was on here, I'm sure most of you know, on most mowers it'll flip up, like this handle. It'll flip in the up position like this. If you look right there, your muffler or your exhaust pipe is right there. So this one day, you guys might remember I told you I have a 3-acre property that I mow. I started smelling something burning, and for the life of me, I could not figure out what was burning. I thought I was burning up a belt because I was mowing some pretty thick grass. So I thought I was burning up a belt or something like that. Well, I didn't notice it because obviously I wasn't thinking about it. I had the chute flipped up, and over time that exhaust pipe had melted a hole in the chute, and that's what was causing my rubber smell. You know, kinda, I've seen one guy do it, and I think I'm probably gonna wind up doing it, but I'm probably gonna make a 90-degree elbow to have the exhaust face out front. And because even this handle will get extremely hot just from sitting there. You know, it's already 100 degrees outside. You know, it's Texas, so it gets real hot in the summer. You know, so I'd like to have something to kind of dissipate that heat. But anyways, if you have one of these, be mindful that it may not be as big of an issue on the 54-inch decks because the decks may be out further. But on the 48-inch decks, if you leave it flipped up and are running this thing for extended periods of time, you will melt that discharge chute. And it still works. You know, it's not really a problem, but it is a design thing, and I'm kind of wondering, like, hey, you know, it's a commercial mower. These things are going to run for extended periods of time. We probably should have thought a little bit better about that. A couple other minor things. You'll notice the dust caps for my spindle bolts have both come out. They both rattled themselves out. I don't know where one of them went. I still have the other one, but you know, it's not that big a deal to put it on. The very last thing that I kind of dislike is, and I'm not sure if it has to do with just Kawasaki or if it's because this is a 950-pound mower, but this thing drinks gas. I mean, it drinks it. I think it's a 6 or 7 gallon tank. That 3-acre property, I will burn through pretty much a full tank, a full tank and about another eighth of a tank to get it all mowed. For example, and I realize it's 2 different machines, but my walk behind right there, it's got an older Kawasaki on it. It's a smaller displacement motor. Once again, I get it. It's only got like a 4-gallon tank on it though. I can run that thing for a week and a half, and it'll make like half a tank of a dent, or it'll make it half a dent in the tank. So like I said, I don't know if it's a Kawasaki thing, if it's my thing, if it's the grass that we're cutting or what, but either way, it does consume fuel a little bit faster than any mower I've ever had before. That may be normal, I don't know. So anyways, guys, like I said, overall, I'm very satisfied with this mower. Does it have its quirks? Does it have its issues? Absolutely. They all have their issues. It's kind of what it is. So I'm sorry for kind of the long-winded video. I'm not the greatest at making these, but I don't see a whole lot of videos on these or a whole lot of people having them. So I figured it was worth it to make a video following up. At some point, I know a lot of people have been asking to do a mowing video. I'll do it at some point. I don't have a GoPro to do it, but I mean, guys, it's a mower. It cuts grass. Keep the blade sharp. It's gonna cut just as good as any other mower. Between that and my 2 smaller mowers, I don't notice much of a difference between the 3. So anyways, y'all have a great day. If you have any questions, feel free to message me, whatever. So bye.